It's trade season, not just in the NBA, also in the NFL with the offseason looming following the Super Bowl. And there is going to be a lot of action starting with Myles Garrett, the best defensive player in the league, has requested a trade out of Cleveland. Shocking it took this long. They have been absolutely dismal his entire tenure, but there is no end in sight for their bad organization with the Deshaun Watson contract and everything. Like they're not going to be competitive for a long time. And while their GM is currently digging his toes in and saying, hey, we're not going to trade this man, eventually it gets to a point where they're going to have to listen to offers. I know they're saying that right now, but they're going to have to listen to these offers. And it feels like if he really wants out and he really pushes his way out, there's a good chance he is traded. And we always talk about how these guys never come on the market, a guy like Myles Garrett, but this is the situation where he's legitimately on the market and Cleveland may have to actually listen to offers. If you're the Falcons, man, I know it's unlikely, and all 30 teams outside of Cleveland will be looking for this guy. But holy hell. I mean, this is the guy that you just say, hey, what the hell do you want? And let's get it done. We haven't had a pass rusher in 2 decades.
We've never had a player of Myles Garrett.
But we haven't had a good pass rusher. And you're right. We haven't had a player anywhere close to Myles Garrett. He's 29 years old. He's still got plenty left in the tank. And when you're talking about contract extensions, like you'll still have most of that at the end of Michael Penix's deal when you have money to spend.
You still got money. I mean, miss me with the money crap. That crap, you work it out. You find a way to work it out for a talent like Myles Garrett. After Michael Penix, in terms of just a quarterback, there is no other as important position or a kind of player to find than Myles Garrett, who is like a football's closer, so to speak, where you have a guy on the other side of the ball where you've got Michael Penix. You have 2 minutes, need a score, you trust Michael Penix. On the other side, 2 minutes to go, need a stop, got Myles Garrett. Those are the kind of guys that win championships. And while Cleveland would be in a fine position if Deshaun Watson just wasn't a tomato can, like money, again, would work itself out. Great spot? No, not even close. But if they knew Deshaun was coming back and was going to be, who he was in Houston, none of this would be a problem. But the fact is even when he's healthy, he sucks. Joe Flacco was better than him in Cleveland. And quite frankly, I don't know if it was even close. And more than that, I think it is clear that the people in Houston, the players, at least the players, probably more, just don't like Deshaun. I mean, it's a ton of baggage. Everybody knows what's happened off the field. You go to bat for this guy because you think he's your quarterback, and then you stick your neck out for the guy, and he goes out there and looks like a tomato can. So I don't, I think this entire situation would be fine. The Cleveland Browns could navigate it. It would be hard, but they could navigate it. If Deshaun Watson was just going to come back and be an average quarterback, but they don't know that. And you know who also knows that? Myles Garrett.
Well, Deshaun Watson's not playing next year. Like he
just ruptured his Achilles again.
Yeah, so he's not playing next year. So they're on the hook. He's done. He might not ever play again. If we're being completely frank with Deshaun Watson's career, and the Browns are on the hook for it, and they're on the hook for it a ton for not just this year, next year. I mean, it's like
there's a lot of complicated aspects to this trade, though.
But
a trade.
But if this gets to a point where they're seriously considering offers, and you're the Atlanta Falcons, this is a no-brainer. I mean, this is a empty the clip, do whatever you can, 2 first-round picks, and then some. Kyle Pitts, name your favorite. If they want to Bijan Robinson, send them. Like this is what
everybody is on the table except for Michael Penix.
Not only is Myles Garrett himself would come in and just be a game record, he'd have your 14, 15 sacks every single season.
People want to play with him.
Dude, people want to play with them. Atlanta becomes a destination. Defenders want to play with them because guess what? That 1-year contract, let's say for the Matt Judons of the world, right? The guys that are coming with prove it. You know how much life is easier when you have Myles Garrett playing? Arnold Ebiketie might become a 10-sack guy.
I was going to say Grady Jarrett's going to have a record-breaking year.
So it's like life just becomes so much. The linebackers are now free-flowing.
The quarterbacks look better.
Yeah. I mean, like everyone is all of a sudden having all. You're like, wow, we actually have a because of one guy. Like that is what a guy like Myles Garrett, Aaron Donalds, those elite defenders can do because they require so much attention that everybody else is free-flowing and can eat and enjoy their one-on-one matchups. And guess what? You still double-team Myles Garrett, he still gets a sack because that's how good he is. This is the guy that if they seriously put him out there for trade, You empty the clip. Terry Fontenot's been on Montez Sweat. He's been in on Brian Burns. He's been in on all these guys and kind of said, hey, no, that was fine. Those guys are good players, really good players, Pro Bowlers on a good year. This is the guy you say, I'm not saying no to no matter what.
Yeah, you don't let him hang up. You don't let Andrew Berry get off the phone to answer another call. You say, what is this deal going to take? A lot of people are bringing up the Khalil Mack 2018 when the Raiders traded him to the Bears. They traded Khalil Mack and a second-round pick to the Bears for 2 first-round picks. Diana Rossini, we did something on the site. Go check it out, sportstalkatl.com. Diana Rossini got a text from a current NFL GM that kind of like laughed off fans who were saying 3 first-round picks and then some. He's saying it's going to take less than that. Take a first-round pick and then some, and maybe 2 first-round picks. And I just find that incredibly hard to believe. And obviously, who am I? I'm an idiot, and that guy's an NFL GM. But, the Browns are going to have to take on dead money because they restructured every single year they could after he signed the 2020
years too.
Yeah, and so they're going to have to take on considerable dead cap to move Myles Garrett. And then at that point, what the hell are you doing with Deshaun Watson? Cut your hand, just take it all on the chin right now. And so you're going to have to entice them to take, I think it's around $35 million for Myles Garrett. You're going to have to entice them to take that money. And obviously on the back end of a deal, you're not only giving up first-round picks. Let's just, for argument's sake, it's 2 first-round picks and some. I would argue it's probably more than that because even he's 3 years older. Myles Garrett is 3 years older now than Khalil Mack was when he was initially traded in 2018. And Khalil Mack doesn't even sniff Myles Garrett's jockstrap. There's levels to this. Myles Garrett might be one of the best defenders in NFL history ever. Joe Mean Green. I'm talking Aaron Donald, the best defenders ever. And then on top of that, what I was saying is a Falcon or whoever's trading for him, you're going to have to give him a contract extension again. Doesn't matter. 4 years, $160 million, $40 million a year. It doesn't matter. He is as impactful as a quarterback or right below a quarterback as any player in football. Yeah. You do it.
And listen, what did we talk about? I don't know if it was last week or the week before. I think it was Zeno that initially brought it up that, Terry Fontenot is kind of a lame duck GM. Like he's going in. Hey, What does Terry Fontenot care about two first-round picks?
Buddy, you might not be here.
You ain't going to be here. But if you get Myles Garrett, you will be here.
This is a job-saving move.
If he gets Myles Garrett, the Falcons are in the playoffs next year. There is zero doubt in my mind. As long as Michael Penix is like we all expect him to be. There is zero doubt in my mind the Atlanta Falcons are winning the NFC South running away. It is that big. I mean, he's 2 or 3 wins. He helps this team win 2 to 3 wins.
In terms of non-quarterbacks, he is maybe the most valuable player from a WAR perspective in NFL. I mean, and he's right there with Jamar Chase. You could talk about maybe a couple of offensive linemen, but he is right there as far as the most impactful non-quarterbacks in the NFL.
I mean, just think about all the games that the Falcons lost by a field goal that you can really just talk about. He changes all those. All those close losses basically turn into wins, and you hope Michael Penix can turn those into wins as well. But the combination of those two, to me, especially with the lame duck GM, I mean, I would be shocked if they are legitimately listening to offers that the Falcons don't come in there and offer a whale. And people might look at it and say, oh man, that's about, guess what? Terry's not a great drafter. Let's be real.
I kept seeing people Falcons fans somehow, because you always got a couple of idiots in every little group, playing the counter argument of I'd rather have 3 guys instead of 1 guy. It was well, that's assuming we're going to find 3 guys in the draft, which we haven't done on the defensive side of the ball at all. So I don't know why you're assuming we're going to be able to find 3 Myles Garretts in the aggregate. That's not going to happen either.
3 Myles Garretts. 3 starters.
3 starters and then a Myles Garrett in the aggregate. 3 guys to be Myles Garrett.
I mean, it actually excites me because I know people want to be oh, it's a long shot every other team. And yes, every other team.
It's a long shot, but who cares?
But this is a long shot that I feel if you're the Falcons, you are really willing to push the envelope. You're one of the teams, considering how bad we need a pass rusher.
Overpaying.
You're willing to overpay. Considering all things considered,
we got the quarterback.
We're in a position to overpay. And I feel if they actually are willing to, I think the Falcons will be one of the top teams sitting there trying to offer a whale package for the Cleveland Browns that they might not be able to reject.